What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're checking out the champions that are sneaking up and will be stronger than the rest in 7.2 with these new changes, so you can get stomping a bit easier in the first few days while everyone else is still figuring this stuff out. Before we start though, this video is actually sponsored by the app Sumo, which fits pretty well with this one, to be honest. If you try any new champion in the video, then this is going to be able to tell you what you should build for the exact matchup and the game that you're in. I honestly think this is really good, which is why I agreed to do it. It generates a tailor-made build for your specific champion, but for the game you're in, with the correct order to build the components, what you should build against the enemy team or with your team, and tips for the specific game you're in as well. The app is free as well. You can follow pros and their builds, your friends, see what they're building, even look back at your own games to judge your strong or weak areas. It has coaching stuff, and that's all for free. If you go back and look at one of your matches, it actually tells you your creep score, so how many CS you got per minute, your gold per minute, your wards, your KDA, your kill participation. It also shows you how you are comparative to other people as well, so whether you CS like a silver or whether you CS like someone in plat. There is a premium side where you get more analysis, like lane champion game specific stuff, and this is based on stats globally, so in theory you work on the areas it says and you'll get better than those around you. Anyway, the link is down below. You can go and download it there. I honestly think it's very useful, but go and give it a try for yourself. There's no harm in downloading it and trying it for a game. And as always, when I get a sponsor, I give back some RP to you guys, so leave a comment, like the video if you do, for a chance to win $25 of RP. So let's go on to the actual video. Timestamps are down below for each role, but the biggest thing that's going to shift a bunch in general just the entire game is lethality, and I think it's going to come back for 80 carries this patch big time. There are some small buffs to Edge of Night and Dustblade anyway. Actually, Dustblade is getting 25 more true damage. I did onto it, which is pretty sweet, and I trashed this Edge of Night change actually, but I'm not sure. The cooldown is down to 30 seconds from 45, and the more I bought this on 80 carries to test it, the more I think actually having the reduced cooldown is pretty good. But anyway, it's not the biggest thing. It's the lethality formula change that is actually going to make a difference. Instead of starting with 40% of the armor pen like we would, we now start with 60%, and 40% scales with levels. This is going to be so much better if we're building lethality early, and I think a lot of arm pen 80 carries are going to come back this patch big time. Misfortune is going to be the number one 80 carry. I bet you it is going to be. Already very strong, and she's already using the arm pen lethality build anyway. Some people are using crit, but I don't think that is anywhere near as good actually. Ghostblade into Black Cleaver and Edge of Night is the build I really like at the moment. You can get Edge of Night second, but those are my first three items, and it's also the most popular in Korea as well. It's very good. You can also go Ghostblade into Dustblade actually. It's kind of more of an assassin-y one-shot build. It's really fun, but you have to find what you want to play yourself. If you get a Last Whisper actually after those three that I've been using, you have arm pen overkill, which sounds really dumb, I know, but it actually rips through everybody and it has the highest win rate as well, so who knows. The whole thing with Misfortune though is she's very easy to play and very effective as well. In lane, you just spam your Q over and over on the enemy AD carry. You don't even have to kill the minion it bounces off of first, like obviously it crits so it's more damage, but even with no crit it does loads of damage. I'm talking like level 7 dealing 40% of someone's health with a Q bounce, if not more, which is ridiculous. After the lane phase though, you just run around, you slow people with your E, and you press R. All you have to do is make sure you get a good ultimate off, and it's such a free game. Trust me, for solo queue, especially in low elo, even in high elo, Misfortune is going to destroy this patch. Draven is the next one to get a big buff out of this actually. By the way, in Korea right now, ignoring Ziggs, Misfortune is number 1 AD, Draven is number 2, and they're both getting buffed by this lethality thing. Draven not as much, he only builds Ghostblade, but it is a popular build right there to rush that into Black Cleaver afterwards for crazy arm pen and damage. He got buffed recently, remember, which makes him strong already. Like, he's already really good, but then it's going to be even better now in my opinion. You can go Bloodthirster first, you can go crit, whatever you're going to go though, he is going to be top tier in 7.2. The other one is Jhin. I know basically everybody goes Essence Reaver and crit on this guy now, but actually the highest win rate wise is Ghostblade Rush into Infinity Edge and Rapid Fire Cannon. It has been all patch long. This is my preferred build anyway. This is how I played him in season 6, as with most of you guys would, so it's easy to transition into season 7 and this build. It's more mobility to escape ganks or chase people, and you have a lot of early damage, which will now be even better, remember. Edge of Night is actually really cool on him. You shield and people cannot just dive onto you, and they can't abuse your lack of mobility. They also can't interrupt your ultimate as easily if they dive onto you, which is kind of funny. I expect this guy to be better in 7.2. Ghostblade first will most likely come back and be more popular, and Edge of Night third or fourth item. For Lucian, just hear me out. I know he's kind of trash tier at the moment, and I'm not going to argue with you in 7.1. He's good on pro players still, I think, even if you have to work a bit harder to win, but yeah, he's kind of like you have to get ahead to be useful. He's still a beast in lane, but he falls off mid game a bit. The Korean build is actually still very good in Korea, surprisingly. I know I'm suddenly sucking them off this video, but I just want to show you that builds can still work in different regions. They prefer early game stuff anyway, and Ghostblade into Black Cleaver is still legit. Now, in my opinion, with more armor pen and more lethality, you can actually get more done in the lane phase and snowball harder. Even with your ultimate, will do more again. He's not going to be OP this patch, but I personally think that he's actually going to be playable and decent. He will start to be a lot stronger in the lane phase. It's not even just just with the lethality stuff though. Lucian wants to fight, and Soraka, Janna, and stuff are the biggest cock blockers in the game, which also makes him worse actually. Redemption is losing 100 of its health, plus the heal is massively reduced early as well, so it makes Redemption rush supports worse, right? Which in theory brings back more aggressive ones to punish them easier. That will also make Lucian better and other aggressive champions who want to fight more, and his lane phase power isn't going to be wasted. I think this is just everything coming together for him at once, to be honest. Further buffs, which he really uses as well. He stacks it fast with his passive, lethality buffs, actual Lucian buffs last patch, and redemption nerfs. I think all of those things bring him back at least to the useful level. I'm definitely going to try Ghostblade, Black Cleaver, and Blade the Ruined King though. I think this will be really legit, and all the percentage damage will be doing more with the arm pen as well. Support wise, I think like Blitz, Leona, Thresh will get a bit better here, as well as the mage carry ones, Zyra, Malzahar, as if he needed to be stronger, and Brand as well. Crit champions like Caitlyn and Twitch will also still be very good, but they're going to struggle a bit more in the early lane phase, I bet. Let's talk about Yasuo nerfs though. So finally he's getting hit more, and they're specifically targeting his early game. They've added an AD ratio, but they're reducing his base damage. So the big thing here though, remember, is the AD ratio is not going to be increased with stacks of your E. It's always just a flat 20%. You're losing 50 damage rank 5 on your E, which is pretty big in my opinion. In the lane phase, at least it will be. It will mess up your CS a bit, or mess up your trades as well. There isn't really a whole ton I can go in depth about this, because it's a change targeted at his early. It doesn't change how you play him, it just makes him weaker. Sadly, I think actually bad Yasuo players are going to be even worse in lane than they already are, but good ones will probably survive and power up later. I say sadly because unfortunately I think it's going to increase the number of feeding Yasuo players in their games, which definitely feels bad. Darius is also actually getting some nerfs here. Passive is giving less AD early, and his Q damage if you hit with the handle part is down to 35% from 50%. They're adding more counterplay, which is nice and everything, but this is just making certain champions stronger in my opinion. So the meta in EU and North America is very much like Riven, Darius, Jace, Yasuo, I think really. In pro play and in Korea it's a different meta, and this is the meta I think we're actually going to be shifting more towards now in 7.2, but it's considered more boring, so people don't want to play it here yet. Over there though, they care more about winning, and this is good for us, to be honest. Like if we adapt now, we can get some easy wins before others do. So Maokai and Poppy are by far the best tanks in the game at the moment, but Maokai is actually more so than Poppy, funnily enough. He has a targeted W, which makes TP plays, roams, and shutting down carries really easy. He also has the AoE damage reduction from his ultimate plus his passive heal, and he abuses courage of the Colossus, which is always nice. Poppy is very similar. She reaches that stage where she's unkillable, but is a little bit harder to lock someone down and start fights with, I think. Really what I'm trying to say is we're moving into a phase where top laners are going to either provide a massive amount of lockdown and just be too tanky to kill, and that's how they're going to carry, or they counter it with their own damage. This is where we have Fiora and Jace though. They're going to be the two best carry champions in 7.2 if you want to invest some time into playing them and get really beast at. Both are borderline overpowered at the moment, especially Fiora actually. She uses Fervor amazingly well. She destroys tanks and carry targets as well. She can split push, team fight, like she can do it all, and she actually carries though. Jace has a stupid amount of damage if you win lane or if you go even, but you have to roam and use that damage to be able to carry pretty hard. I think with Darius and Yasuo out of the way a little bit more, Riven actually gets a bit better as well and probably has an easier time in the lane phase. This might be the time when GP finally makes his return as well and starts to crap on kids again. Like farming versus tanks is not that hard. Darius and Yasuo will be easier to manage, and games are going a little bit later. I think he could be really good this patch. Top tier wise, I think Jace, Fiora, Riven, and Gangplank are going to be better. Maokai and Poppy are still the best tanks, and Camille is still 100% banned. Mid lane honestly isn't changing very much though. Like poke and range are what we're kind of looking for more and more though. That is the really easy way to carry solo queue. You kill people when you don't even have to get close, and you roam well as well. Ziggs, Ahri, and Lux in my opinion are the top 3 champions for climbing solo queue at the moment for like solo carry, but you want to watch out for Vel'Koz to make a comeback this patch. Corki is also going to get more popular, and Twisted Fate I think is really good at the moment. Jungle is the last place now to take a look at. Rengar, Nocturne, and Kha'Zix are going to benefit a lot from the lethality changes in my opinion, and be even stronger than they are now. These 3 are already probably like the top 3 carry junglers you can play, and they are really strong. They can all one-shot people. Kha'Zix can even abuse the new Dustblade damage even better, and I would expect these to be able to hard carry games even easier and be super strong this patch. Nidalee has got some minor buffs, so your W traps are invisible now, so you can't actually see them, and they're going to work a little bit like wards with health bars. They are major changes. You get a bit more health early, and she'll be a little bit better. Courage of the Colossus is getting a decent nerf though, and it's now going to be aimed for team fights more than anything else. The base shield on this is going to be about 30% of what it used to be before. You still have the 5% per nearby champion, but now the base is going to be per nearby champ as well, when it wasn't before. So what this actually means really is versus 1 or 2 enemies just around you is going to be quite a lot worse actually. 3 is about even, and versus 4 or 5 nearby is going to be a lot better actually. This is more of a nerf to top lane champions who want to abuse a shield and get free trades in, so we might actually see some keystone changes up there, but but late game is still going to be nuts if you dive in first. The final jungle thing is Master Yi actually might be back in 7.2, at least in lower elo. I don't even think Yi is that bad in gold and below, honestly, because the game is a very chaos, like kill style and stuff. Yi is going to thrive in that more than most, to be honest. He wants that kind of game, not grouping and lots of kills to get to his late game build. His passive now is going to be like Lucian, so the second strike will hit a nearby target if the first dies. You have a better clear, basically. His W, though, when used, will pause the duration on his E and R and also stack his passive. Basically, if you heal or use your W for damage reduction, you will come out and do true damage from your E and still run super fast and attack really fast with your ultimate. Plus, you're going to strike twice with your passive as well, and I think this is going to do more than you actually think it will do. You can use it deliberately and it'll be good, but so many Yi players probably use W and lost seconds off of their damage without really realizing it. With Blade the Rune King buffed as well, I think he'd actually be pretty legit in 7.2 now at lower ranks. And also, if you want to try Titanic Hydra and a Black Cleaver build on him with Asterix, that is going to be absolutely ridiculous. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and remember to try Sumo out. But for now, let's go to the robots.